The Awesome Movies list presented below includes the all-time best movies. Most of the movies listed below have done well on the box office, won critical acclaims and most importantly, stood the test of time. Movies are artworks that put together visuals and audio that are bound together by a script. A good script and an equally great presentation of the script on screen leads to creation of an awesome movie. Some of the best action, comedy and animated movies are listed below. Awesome movies of all time. A movie that appeals to your aesthetic sense, becomes popular among masses, and which also passes the critics' acid test is generally considered a good artwork. There are few such movies which fulfill expectations of the audience from a wide spectrum of the society. An attempt to list down some of the best movies of all time is made in this article. The Godfather, which was released in 1972, is based on a novel with the same name by Mario Puzo. The film is directed by Francis Ford Coppola and portrays the life of a fictional Italian-American crime family. This film bagged 3 Academy Awards in the following categories: Best Picture, Best Actor Marlon Brando, and Best Adapted Screenplay. Titanic, directed by James Cameron. This 1997 movie won a record 11 Academy Awards and was nominated in 14 categories. The Titanic, which stars Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, is based on a true story of a sinking ship, RMS Titanic. The Titanic sunk on April 15, 1912 after sliding against an iceberg. The cost incurred in making the movie was over $200 million. Forrest Gump. The Forrest Gump, based on a novel with the same name, directed by Robert Zemeckis, was released in 1994. It is a story of an autistic man from Alabama. His life takes a sudden twist after which he witnesses a series of unexpected events. He meets several historical figures during this strange phase of life. The story portrayed in the film is, however, not exactly the same as presented in the book. Gladiator, an epic film released in 2000, Gladiator won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Directed by Ridley Scott and featuring Russell Crowe as the protagonist, Gladiator depicts the story of a Roman general, Maximus Decimus Meridius. Maximus comes to Rome as a gladiator to seek revenge of the murder of his wife and son. Maximus achieves his objective, however, in the process loses his life. Requiem for a Dream, based on a 1978 novel of the same name, Requiem for a Dream was released in 2000. The film was directed by Darren Aronofsky. Ellen Burstyn was nominated for the Best Actress Academy Award. Requiem for a Dream is a story of a woman who suffers from different kinds of delusions that are finally broken and overtaken by reality. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, 3 epic films released in 2000, 2001 and 2002 are together called the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Based on a novel called The Lord of the Rings 1954-55, written by J.R.R. Tolkien, an Oxford University professor, the film depicts events that take place in a fictional world called Middle-earth. The Shawshank Redemption, written and directed by Frank Darabont, The Shawshank Redemption was released in 1994. Tim Robbins plays the protagonist, Andy. This film depicts the life of a person who is imprisoned on false charges and spends 2 decades of his life in Shawshank State Prison. In the end, Andy manages to escape from prison without having to serve the full term. The Matrix trilogy. The Matrix trilogy consists of The Matrix, The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. Written and directed by Wachowski brothers, the first of the 3 films was released in 1999. The last 2 films were released in 2003. Story of The Matrix is set in a time at the turn of the 21st century. Human civilization of these times lives in a virtual world dominated by sentient machines. Humans are connected to the Matrix, artificial reality, by means of cybernetic implants. Star Wars. The first film of the Star Wars trilogy was released in 1977. The Star Wars movies depict events taking place in a fictional galaxy. The revenue generated by these films is over $4.3 billion. It makes them the 3rd highest grossing movies after James Bond and Harry Potter series. Fight Club, based on a 1996 novel written by Chuck Palahniuk with the same name. Fight Club was directed by David Fincher. Edward Norton plays the protagonist, who forms the Fight Club. The discontentment resulting from white-collar jobs urges him to take the drastic step of forming a fight club. Casablanca. This movie is set in times of the World War II. Casablanca is a story of a man torn between love and virtue. Rick Blaine, Humphrey Bogart, and American expat, runs a nightclub in Casablanca, Morocco. He finds his lost love after many years, after which Rick's life takes an unexpected turn. Casablanca ranks amongst top Hollywood movies of all time. Castaway, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Castaway is a story of a FedEx executive stranded on an island after crash landing. Tom Hanks played the character of the FedEx employee. The transformation that the character played by him undergoes is the highlight of this film. For this role, Tom Hanks won the Best Actor award at the 73rd Academy Awards, 58th Golden Globe Awards and BAFTA Awards. Inception. This sci-fi movie is basically a heist film directed by Christopher Nolan. Released in 2010, Inception has a large cast with Leonardo DiCaprio playing the protagonist. The idea of inception used in this movie is about planting an idea into the subconscious of a person. Dom Cobb, character played by DiCaprio, a thief, is assigned with the task of inception. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was directed by Christopher Nolan. Released in 2008, this movie is a sequel to Batman Begins, the first part of the Batman series movies. The Killing Joke, a novel from 1988, inspired Christopher Nolan to make this movie. Heath Ledger won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor posthumously. This movie also won the award for Best Sound Editing. Blood Diamond. Released in 2006, Blood Diamond is a political thriller directed by Edward Zwick. Story of the film revolves around the lives of a South African, Danny Archer, Leonardo DiCaprio, and a Mende local, Solomon Vandy, played by Jiman Gaston Hounsou. The dangerous journey they embark on in their quest to find the pink diamond is the central theme of this movie. The movie is set in times of the Sierra Leone Civil War. Avatar. The Avatar is one of the most expensive movies with a budget of $237 million. Directed by James Cameron, Avatar was shot with the Fusion 3D camera system, which was specially developed for shooting this film. The camera system was developed by the joint efforts of director James Cameron and Vince Pace. The movie is about a paraplegic ex-Marine, Jake Sully, Sam Worthington, who was assigned a task to do reconnaissance for a company on a distant planet called Pandora. In the course of time, Jake sides with the natives Navis of the planet and wages war against humans. Mission Impossible. Directed by Brian De Palma, Mission Impossible was released in 1996. Story of the film revolves around a secret agent who has been falsely implicated in a crime. He fights his way to clear himself of the false charges. Tom Cruise plays the role of the protagonist, Ethan Hunt. Awesome comedy movies. Here are some of the awesome movies for those interested in watching comedy films. Airplane. 1980, American Pie. 1999, Blazing Saddles. 1974, Annie Hall. 1977, Groundhog Day. 1993, Some Like It Hot. 1959, This Is Spinal Tap. 1984, Shaun of the Dead. 2004, The Blues Brothers. 1980, Meet the Parents. 2000, Dumb and Dumber. 1994, Young Frankenstein. 1974, Clerks. 1994, MASH. 1970, The Proposal. 2009, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. 1975, There's Something About Mary. 1998, Monty Python's Life of Brian. 1979. Awesome action movies. This list of action movies includes all-time best films. You would enjoy watching these action-packed movies. Commando, 1985, Layer Cake, 2004, Speed, 1994, Kill Bill, 2003, 2004, The Killer, 1989, Lethal Weapon, 1987, Desperado, 1995, Aliens, 1986, Die Hard, 1988, 300, 2006, Grindhouse, 2007, The Bourne Identity, 2002, Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981, The Professional, 1994, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2005, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1989, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, 2008, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991. Awesome animated movies. These are some of the best animated movies which kids as well as adults would find interesting. The Incredibles, 2004, Cinderella, 1950, Finding Nemo, 2003, Madagascar, 2005, Wall Middledoddy, 2008, Shrek, 2001, The Lion King, 1994, Toy Story, 1995, Monsters, Incorporated, 2001, Ice Age, 2002, Kung Fu Panda, 2008, Despicable Me, 2010, Bolt, 2008, Aladdin, 1992, Happy Feet, 2006, A Bug's Life, 1998, Cars, 2006, Sleeping Beauty, 1959. The movies list given in this article gives us a short account of important and must-watch Hollywood movies of all time. You would find these movies interesting and enjoy watching them.